Hello and welcome to the Dialogue, the show that has discussions about the latest sports topics of the day. I'm your host with the Golden Mic, Daniel Campbell, and along with me is the one to envy, B Smooth, and the star of the show, Charlie Murphy. In today's episode, we'll talk about our top 5 centers list. All right, so we're introducing a new segment that we're going to be doing on Sundays, and it's going to be basically some form of a debate. And actually, we're going to call it the debate. So it's going to be a debate about something. We chose to talk about the top 5 centers this week. So, how you guys doing? Smooth?
I didn't have to work. It's great. It's always good when you don't got to work and you can do something you like, podcasting.
He wasn't talking to you. You're not the star of the show. He was talking to me.
I was talking to the envious one.
I'm not envious. Everyone's envious of me.
Okay, if you say so.
You better get it. You better get it straight.
I think it's an envious one.
That's why I got the name. All right.
You anointed yourself that name, but it's okay.
Because it's the truth. It's a fact.
All right. Anyway, let's get started because we can debate. We'll probably debate this for 30 minutes about how he's envious of everyone else and how he thinks everyone else.
I wouldn't want your terrible life.
Okay.
I wouldn't want yours either, Charlie Murphy.
Okay. Well, we all wish
you wouldn't want to be. My life's pretty good, actually.
Yeah, I think mine is too. So, but we all want to be like Smooth. So let's try to be.
They made a song about me. Nike made a song about me. Jordan just stole it.
Okay, if you say so. Well, all right. We'll go ahead and get started. So we're gonna debate our top 5 centers.
You go first on this one. Since you think the list is going to be very debatable, let's see.
I do think it's debatable. For my very first person, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Who do you have, Skyline?
Oh, I have him as well. This might be universal.
He's on my list, but he's not number 1.
See, I told you we weren't going to all agree.
No, but there's only reason why, and this is the man that gets overlooked because of when he played in the league, Bill Russell. But he's got 11 championships.
Oh, my God.
He's got 11 championships.
Okay. State your case for Bill Russell.
No, but here's the argument. Here's the biggest argument for him. And I know his stats are people look at it, he only scored 14,000 points. He's still number 2 all time in rebounds. Still number 2 all time. And the Celtics, all those great Celtics players were nothing until he showed up. They didn't win a darn thing.
I will give you that. He's a winner. He's a winner. Okay, go ahead, state your case. I'm listening. State your case for why
11 rings. I'm sorry. 11. I don't care when it was. It's 11 rings.
So that's your only case.
And he's still number 2 all time in rebounds.
That's all you got.
He's number 2 all time in rebounds. You know how hard
I'm asking, is that all you have?
He deserves to be on that list. You don't have him in your top 5?
We'll have to wait and see.
Okay. because I like winners. You know, I like winners. I'm just saying.
I'm actually, because now Bill Russell only played 13 seasons and he got 11 rings though. That is very impressive. That is very impressive.
Robert Horry has 7. I mean, out of what? How many years?
He played 16 seasons. He played 16.
16 seasons.
I know from the top of my head.
Yep. All right. So, but we don't praise Robert Horry.
Horry wasn't a main fixture. He wasn't the guy. Bill Russell was the guy. The guy having 11 rings is a big deal.
Here's where I'm gonna play devil's advocate here, because you're not coming with anything more than 2 things.
Wow, he won it 8 years in a row.
Russell is the greatest center of all time. If you take Bill Russell and you put him on the Lakers, right, and you take Wilt Chamberlain, you put him on the Celtics, do the Lakers get better and win championships, or do the Celtics continue to win championships?
I actually think that Wilt hurts the Celtics because Wilt is an individual player. The Celtics thing was about team. He might actually change the way Jerry West plays.
You see me looking at you,
I understand what
Charles?
you're saying, but you got to realize the things he did defensively allowed those teams to get out on a fast break and score easy buckets. There is no fast break without the Celtics. They invented the fast break.
Okay. Is it fair to say, and I got to say this, is it fair to say that Wilt Chamberlain never played with the talent that Bill Russell played with?
All around, no. But
is that fair to say? I'm just asking. Fair to say.
He played with enough Hall of Famers that you can't discount him. Yeah.
You just played with Jerry West and Gil Goodrich.
No, you got Hal Greer. It was quite a few people on those when he was with the Sixers.
The Warriors? No, they weren't good.
No, the Sixers. I'm talking about the Sixers. People forget those Sixers years.
Okay, but they still weren't great. It was all Wilt. They weren't great.
But he played with 3 other Hall of Famers.
If you take Wilt Chamberlain and you put him on those Celtics, they win all 13 of those championships, not 11. Wilt Chamberlain has probably, if you put him on the Celtics from the start to finish, Wilt Chamberlain probably has 20 rings.
Look, and this is the debate I was making with Skyline earlier. I'm sorry, Charlie Murphy. That I was making with him is that
we call Charlie Murphy Skyline.
Yeah, you can only play who's right in front of you. I'm sorry, you can't debate eras. There's goats of eras, but
they're
you can't
in the same era. All I said to you was, if you take Wilt Chamberlain, you put him on the Celtics, and you put Bill Russell on the Lakers, or those Sixers, or those Warriors, Bill Russell has 0 rings.
11 rings. Just go to number 2.
The man's got 0 rings if you put him on those.
Got 11 rings. And Wilt has 2.
You're in the same era.
And Wilt has 2.
Crazy. All right. Skyline.
Actually, they're not the same era.
I'm sorry. I keep saying Skyline. I'm going to just start calling you Skyline on the show.
My gamer tag is Top Skyline. So that's,
yeah, his gamer tag is Top Skyline. And so it's just a habit to call him Skyline.
Yeah.
It's becoming...
Because we don't use real names on everybody.
So anyway, Charlie Murphy. What is your number 1? You said it was Kareem.
I gave it to Kareem. Simple. First in scoring, third in rebounding and blocks of all time. Now, never mind the titles and stuff. That's stuff that, who is going to be his scoring title first and foremost? Who's going to beat that? And rebounding. Yeah, okay, LeBron. Yeah, it took how many years for one guy to do it though? And that's because LeBron's played a bunch of seasons though. So, he only got 6 titles, unlike Bill Russell, who has 11. Bill Russell, I was looking him up, by the way, 8 championships in a row. Can you imagine just playing against him and for 8 years straight, you got a target on your back, and it's like, this is the guy we got to beat. For 8 years straight, you just dominate. That's amazing. That's amazing.
But
point that out there.
Yeah, they had Bob Pettit on those teams, Sam Jones. They had a ton of Hall of Famers on those squads. He wasn't alone, and that's my point. Is that the only point? There's only a handful of players that you
Hall of Famers without him. Because if you, like you said, if you swap Wilt out and you put Wilt on those teams, none of those guys score the amount of points that they score, rebounds, none of that. None of those guys are Hall of Famers.
Or maybe Wilt Chamberlain. Maybe Wilt Chamberlain. His body is saved because he has to do less. Because he has greater players around him. You ever thought of that?
It's the same effect that he had in Philly. He played with other Hall of Famers. Their stats got better.
He played with Hal Greer.
Those guys' stats got better when he left because they got more opportunities.
For a second time, let's move on to number 2. I actually have on my number 2. Hold on, let me pull it back up my list because I don't want to misspeak on this. While I'm looking at it back up, Charlie, what do you have?
So 2 is Bill Russell. We talked about that. 3 Wilt Chamberlain for me. So, well, Be Smooth, who's your top three? Let's reiterate that. Who's your top three?
So I have Wilt number two because I have those two guys number one and two because they went up against each other and they had some hard fought battles. My problem with Kareem is, yes, I understand he's the all time leading scorer. I understand that. He's top 10 in rebounds and blocks. My knock on him is when he came in the league, who was the other big time center that he went against?
Well,
Wilt was only there for 3 years of his career.
okay. So
After
what's your
that,
point?
you got guys like Wes Unseld. They're just they're guys who can't score. They're just defensive guys. You got a bunch of guys like that. You got a few guys
Artis
who
Gilmore is on that list.
who
Artis Gilmore is in
I
the
was
league
gonna
at
say
that time.
Artis
Moses
Gilmore
Malone.
really. Again, they're not big time scoring guys.
And
They're
then
defenders
he
and rebounders.
Kareem dominated late in his career when he's going against Hakeem Olajuwon, Patrick Ewing.
Yes,
Come
but they're
on.
young. But they're
David
young pups.
Robinson.
But they're young pups. He wasn't. He was Akeem. There's a difference between the play of Akeem and Hakeem, and we
I
both
agree
know
with
that.
that. Yes, I agree with that.
He was still Akeem when he went against him.
All right. Let me tell you who I got as number two. I got Shaq. And then I have number three, I have Hakeem Olajuwon. All right. None of y'all are going to convince me that Shaq isn't number two. All right. Because you can say what you want. Shaq didn't play for stats like that. Shaq didn't play for stats like that. Because if Shaq had played for stats, who could stop him? All right. No one could stop him in the 90s. Just period, point blank. You weren't going to stop him. The reason why I chose Shaq is not because of Lakers Shaq, which is the Shaq that everybody remembers. I chose Shaq because of Orlando Magic Shaq. The Shaq that would grab the rebound, run the break, and then go dunk on somebody. That Shaq. If he had stayed that Shaq, stayed skinny like that, stayed all muscled and chiseled, and stayed with his cardio, we'd be talking about an entirely different player than what he became.
But you're projecting. We can only go off of what he was. His career is finished.
I get that.
But here's the problem.
Even with him becoming Fat Shaq, who stopped him? Give me the player that stopped him.
But here's the problem with the argument about Shaq. So I got Shaq in my top.
Do you think Kareem could have stopped him?
Answer
the question. Just answer the
I
question.
got Shaq in my top 5, but he's at number 5.
Do you think Kareem could have stopped Shaq?
No, but Shaq couldn't have stopped Kareem either.
I disagree. I actually think Shaq could
have. He's not stopping the skyhook.
But it wouldn't have mattered. You know why? Because Shaq would have beat Kareem's body so badly that Kareem would have had nothing on the offensive end.
But here's your problem with this argument right here. Shaq couldn't even beat up on Hakeem. Hakeem was giving him the business.
Yes, because he had moves. And now I'm going to get to him next. He had moves. He had the most unstoppable move ever.
Here's why the most unstoppable move is the skyhook.
I said next to the skyhook.
Yeah, the Dream Shake was the second most unstoppable move.
Yes.
So here's the problem. Here's the problem with your argument. So Shaq really only has 6 years where he's really super dominant as a center. 6 years. You got the 1 year where they go to the championship in Orlando. Then he falls off after that. He goes to LA. He doesn't become dominant again until 1999, the year they should have went to the championship. Hold on, let me finish. They should have went to the championship in 99. They didn't go. The Spurs went. From 99 to 2004, he is super dominant. They should have won a championship in 2004, but that was the Kobe mess. We don't got to get into it. We don't need to rehash what happened with Kobe. That was the Kobe drama year. with GPE and Karl Malone was on that team. All right.
Okay.
After
Now,
that, from 99 to 2004, he's not dominant after that. 05, he gets traded to the Heat.
all right.
That's D-Wade's team. He wins one more championship
That's-
with D-Wade.
That's because Shaq ate himself out the league, which we
That
both
has
know.
to be accounted for. He can't
Oh, okay, I'm accounting for it. But even with all of that, here's my point with Shaq. Shaq played in the golden age of big men. He came into the league in 92, right? And when he comes into the league in 92, we have the best big men that we've ever seen in a game. Period. Point blank. You got David Robinson, Patrick Ewing, Hakeem Olajuwon. Who am I forgetting? There's more. Alonzo Mourning. Who am I forgetting? Mutombo's there. I'm forgetting more big men. I know I'm forgetting more big men.
Alonzo. You got Alonzo Mourning.
I said Alonzo Mourning.
Okay.
Yeah. You've got all these Hall of Fame big men. Shaq is literally playing in the best era of big men that we've ever seen in the NBA, and he's dominating all of them. Except for that one year.
David Robinson still playing?
He didn't dominate.
I had David Robinson in there, yeah.
Okay.
He didn't dominate David Robinson, and he didn't dominate.
He killed David Robinson. He literally did. Yeah, Vlade's there, who's okay. He killed David Robinson. What are you talking about?
He didn't kill David Robinson. Revisionist history.
Okay. All right.
He killed the old man David Robinson.
Move on for sake of time. Who was your number 3 again? Scott
Line. Number 3 was Wilt Chamberlain.
And Smooth. Who was your number 3? Kareem.
So me and him pretty much have the same top 3, just in different order.
And I have Hakeem Olajuwon as number 3.
Your list is just wrong.
No, my list is totally right. He's got the most, after the Scott Hood, most indefensible move. And it's the move that makes you look stupid. How many centers did Hakeem Olajuwon make look stupid? How many times?
Number 4.
Which way did he go? Which way did he go? Which way did he go?
Well, he's still number 4.
He's literally the only guy that could challenge Jordan. He got 2 championships when Jordan was retired. But he's literally the only guy who could challenge Jordan. I still think the Bulls beat Houston probably once out of those 2 tries, where Houston won in 94 and 95. However, and they beat him at least once. Maybe twice. Maybe Jordan has 8 rings if he doesn't retire. But he probably has 7. Hakeem Olajuwon was that good that he was the only player that could have possibly broken up Michael Jordan's dynasty. Are we is that fair to say?
But we can only go off of what we have. And the knowledge that we have is he's got 2 championships.
My point is, those 94 Bulls with Michael Jordan may not have been good enough. Probably were not good enough to beat those Rockets. That's
as a Bulls fan, that's sacrilege.
I can be realistic. Hey, I'm a realist.
We are throwing you off the
Gotta
bandwagon.
take your Bulls fandom out of it, man.
You are not a Bulls fan anymore.
I'm
you
objective.
are off the bandwagon. You live in Dallas. You're a Luka fan now. That's what he is.
I'm objective, and I recognize things. All right, who do we all have us for?
No Bulls fan.
Who do you have us for?
Hakeem.
Okay, that's good.
Shaq.
You got Shaq
is my number 5.
Wow. Shaq is 4, huh?
The first 3 is because the first 3 had the best accolades, pretty much. Shaq was just dominant.
I put Wilt Chamberlain right here. This is where I put Wilt Chamberlain. Because I felt that Wilt Chamberlain he didn't play against guys his size. You can't deny the stats. And you play against who you play against, but he didn't play against guys his size. He also didn't get it done in the winning department enough for somebody as dominant as him. But I also had to put him on there because, he's the greatest scorer of all time. So, he's on that
I can't demonize him because, he only got 2 titles. Out of the top 4, probably everyone's top 5, he arguably has the least amount of titles, but he's supposed to dominate, and he did. I can't demonize him just because
Yeah.
his
Well,
talent.
him
But
and
he
For
him
big
and
scored the
one
Hakeem,
there.
most points out of every player ever.
him and Hakeem had the same amount of championships, and Wilt has more points, more rebounds, more
No.
assists.
Will scored more points than anybody in the history of the game. And that's why he's on the list.
before.
Will scored 75,000 points. All right. 75,000 points. Never forget it.
I get that. My thing is,
Never forget it.
got 100-point
Are you
game,
confused?
average 50 points.
No, I was trying to look up some stats about Wilt Chamberlain. He shot threes, right? Not that many.
No.
No.
The three wasn't in the game until 19.
Okay.
Like
So
84.
LeBron's
83?
gonna catch. Yeah, that's what I thought. They didn't have threes back then, so it's just ones and twos pretty much. So
Yeah.
he got the scoring title back then, and LeBron is shooting threes now to get the
Yes.
scoring title.
That's
Yeah.
not the scoring title I'm talking about, man. If you don't know what
Oh.
75,000 points is,
Oh, the number of women he was with,
it's-
right? That
Yeah.
You don't know. You don't know. Please don't.
Allegedly, the number of women allegedly.
Oh no, I believe it to be true. I believe it to be true.
Pictures of him with 10 women in a bed with him.
You know, the stories about Wilt Chamberlain are like fantasy. Like it was like he's Goliath or something, or like he was unreal. I mean, dude was a track star. He did all the track and field stuff like discus throw, all of that. He could have been an Olympian in anything that he wanted to be. He just chose basketball. But he literally could have been an Olympian in pretty much any sport. You know, he was a movie star. He slept with all these women. He was handsome. You know,
Off this man's libido. Let's get off this man's libido and let's move on to who's your number 5. Because you already know mine is Shaq.
hey, man, if I could have been like him. Whew. But no, I couldn't because, you know, AIDS wasn't around then, but it's definitely been around in my lifetime. So there's no way I could ever be like him.
Okay.
People like him probably started it.
I'd have been
People
more
like him probably started it.
On to your number 5.
I actually have David Robinson as my number 5.
So you don't even have Bill Russell in your top 5.
I do not.
And that's a disrespect.
Honorable mention.
Greatest winner of all time. That's a disrespect.
Honorable mention. Only because he's a winner. He's just a winner. He's just a winner.
But when is winning going to be valued in our society? Nobody else has 11 rings but Phil Jackson.
Who do you have as 5? I'd like to hear it.
I said Shaq. He's literally number
Charlie.
5.
Oh, I put down. Now this is where I put down Hakeem Olajuwon. As
Thank
5.
you. Me and him have the same exact list, except for the numbers
One
of
and
them.
two.
And you're wrong.
I'm looking at.
And you're both wrong.
I was looking at David Robinson, and I wanted to squeeze him in there, but
You know why I put David Robinson in there?
what?
People forget. He scored 72 points. And until Kobe had scored 81, 72 was the second highest scoring game ever. But if you know what people forget about that 72-point game, it was in the playoffs, not regular season. Wilt's 100, regular season. Kobe's 81, regular season.
No, you're
David
wrong.
Robinson
You're
scored
wrong.
72
That
in
was
the
not the
playoffs.
playoffs. Jordan
Look
has
it
the
up.
highest playoff game of all time, which is
Look it up, Skyline.
It's 63 points by Jordan, Michael Jordan.
No, you know what? You're right. It wasn't in the playoffs.
got-
You're right.
It was the
It was
last game of the
72.
season. It was the last
It
game
was the last game of the season. You're right.
Yes,
You're
it
right.
was the last game of the season to take the scoring title from Shaq.
You're right. You're absolutely right. I'm sorry. I'm wrong on that. I was totally wrong.
Yes.
You're right. Jordan still holds the record for 63.
Yes,
You're right.
Jordan 63.
Yeah.
You're right.
Celtics.
Absolutely right. So, but still, the man scored 72. He was unbelievable. He was a left-hand big man when there weren't any left-hand big men in the league. Give me the player that you could think of that played center that ran like a gazelle. Give me the guy who was 7 feet tall and ran like he was a shooting guard. You can't then. You can now because you can think of Giannis. You can think of Giannis. But that's what David Robinson was then. Also, keep in mind, we lost 2 years of David Robinson because of the Naval Academy. So he missed out on 2 years of basketball development in that process. That's what we're missing with David Robinson. So I have him in there for the stats. I have him in there for his athletic ability, which was special. And I also have him in there for his ability to be a great teammate, because playing with Dennis Rodman, number one, not easy to do. All right. And he tried to love Dennis Rodman as best he could. But also I have him in there because as his powers regressed and Tim Duncan came into the league, who we're going to talk about in our next episode, he was able to give away some of his game to Tim Duncan. And I really do respect that.
Sneak peek. Tim Duncan's everybody's number one power forward. Sneak peek.
I mean,
he's universally known.
See, this is what bothers me, right?
Really,
and I guess I won't talk about it now because we're going to talk about in next week's episode the power forwards. So I won't talk about it now. But I have a problem with Tim Duncan for sure. So we'll get to that.
Yeah, and I just want to say shout out to Quinn Snyder for stepping down from the Utah Jazz.
Oh, it's official.
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
The most hated team in the league by black people.
Yeah.
I see it right now. After 8 seasons.
Hate Utah.
Well,
Utah's going nowhere.
It was official Friday. Where you guys been? This
I saw reports on it, but it wasn't official.
Yeah, it was Friday.
Okay. Well, I just didn't see it. I wasn't paying attention. But yeah, I mean, Utah, that thing is dead. All right. It's just dead. They've got nothing. And Rudy Gobert, they can't get rid of him. And Donovan Mitchell's not a number one. He's an irrational confidence guy.
He's a really good number two.
He is. He's a very good number two who will shoot you out of games sometimes. But he's a good number two. And they've got to blow it up and start all over again, because you know what you can't do? You can't recruit nobody to Utah. And you know why you can't recruit them to Utah? Because A, nobody wants to live in Utah. I give me the young black millionaire that wants to live in Utah. Exactly. Number two, the fans are notoriously racist, like Boston fans. They're known to be worse than Boston fans. All right. So every player in the league says how much they hate going to Utah because all they hear is racial slurs the whole time. So they're going to have to build through the draft and hope that they can hold on to a player or two. But what they really need to do is try to get what they should have been out here is trying to get some Lukas and some Jokic's and some Nurkic's and stuff like that, because those guys will play at Utah just fine. But going to recruit good black guys, yeah, they're never going to stay. Ever. Go ahead, Smooth.
I was going to say, we got to end this episode.
Yes, we do.
Thank you guys for...
We're still under time.
Thank you guys for listening, for watching. We really appreciate you. And we'll see you on the next episode.
You try to be funny. You try to be funny right now. I really dislike you.
Well, somebody got to be a good host and end on time and different things.
We are on time. We have
29 minutes left.
You still got the outro.
Yeah, there's plenty of time for that.
No time management.
Gonna cut the last 10 seconds
right.
and edit
Terrible time management skills.
Yes, edit him out. Make sure you edit him out. But hey, make sure that you watch us on YouTube, rate us, review us, give us 5 stars, and leave a comment. And we'll see you guys in a couple of days.
So wait, do you keep clicking?